Tangled Webs is a 1998 novel by Elaine Cunningham, and it is book 2 in Starlight and Shadows, book 1 being Daughter of the Drow, which I have previously reviewed. And this is, I believe, the 8th novel I think I've read by Cunningham overall, most of these being in Forgotten Realms. We begin in Skullport as Lyriel Bonry undergoes a dangerous mission to rescue Hrolf the Unruly from prison. It is the year 1361 DR, the same year as the first book. Hrolf is the captain of a ship called the Elfmaid, which sails for Ruthven. Fyodor still needs to get to the island. First, they must get past the skulls that pass judgment in Skullport. We have Northmen, mysterious magic, and a plot to kill. We also have Shakti is present again and deals with her normal commodious doings, but also her nefarious ones of the drow. Cunningham makes Menzo Berenzin more realistic than the Salvatore ever does, but still keeps the evil tendencies of the culture. We also have sea elves, Melinti, Suhagen, a giant squid, I believe, and other water creatures. We also have a Kraken Society as an organization, and the sorceress female projecting Illithid called Vestris in the ancient underwater city of Askarl. Vestris is interesting, as I believe Illithids are normally sexless, or if not, they kind of project as males. So it's interesting change there. Also, we get kind of a tour of the Sea of Swords and the North with Luskan, Neverwinter, etc. And we also have characters like Rethnor, who's a member of the Kraken Society, but also Hag Captain of Luskan. And another character I liked was also Caladorn, a noble of Waterdeep, out for adventure. I actually know him from the book Elf Song as well. And then we also have a Ranger of the Sea in both Citadel and Xorsh, or however you say it. I don't know how to say Xorsh as his name. Anyways, we have Ibn, also the first mate of the Elf Maid. He is not too similar to the captain. Rolf, he is petty and racist against elves and a misogynist to boot. There's also a nice cameo from Danilo Thon, of course, from the the book like Elf Song, actually. Those Songs and Swords books by Cunningham. Lyriel herself, she seeks power, whether divine or arcane, but she seems somewhat hesitant. As in the first novel of pledging herself to Lolth, she still feels some affinity to the Dark Dancer and Maiden Elistry as well. In some ways, Lyriel is more relatable than Arlen, even, who is kind of aloof. Lyriel comes from a very strange society. For example, she is taught that surface elves are fairy, which is what we call them, and that they're evil, right? Essentially, the exact same thing that surface elves would teach their children about dark elves. And while she has this want of power, as is pretty typical with mages, and with drow society in general, and drow women maybe particularly, she is very different in a sense, or rather we get a lot more humanity from her, for lack of a better word, and her attachment she also gets to people that you probably, or at least not, you wouldn't, honestly it makes sense, you just wouldn't expect it if you've only read the drow of Salvatore. So while I don't think this book, even though Lyriel has more personality in some ways, or is more relatable than Arlen, these books are not as compelling, I feel like, as the Songs and Swords books so far. Also by Cunningham, like I mentioned. But it is better than the other Dark Elf books I've read. Cunningham really does elves well and brings their world to life. One that is not human, essentially, right? And in this case, it is a nice sea adventure with places I've never seen in fiction either. So there's really not much Underdark, actually, in this one, but still a really fun book. It has quite an ending. In a sense, we have a book that is about learning to dream. And I would also say, if you want, this is actually a solid ending to the series as well. It's just 2 books. But there is actually one more that came out some years later that actually caps off the 3 books of Starlight and Shadows. I'll catch you next time for that. Leave from Liam's Lyceum. Until next time.